Good evening, members of the league. Welcome to the best 5 minutes of your week, 5+ minutes. It is 5 happy minutes, and I've got 2 monitors going here. We've got a lot computer-wise that we're going to look at. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on the commish, Mike Mostrom. He is joining us. We have been looking very briefly at a new website to use possibly for the league. It would roll everything into one, so it'd have your Facebook, it'd have your Yahoo, it'd have your spreadsheets all in one spot, all of our stats, all the messaging, all the trades. You could do your videos there. Quite interesting. There's a lot there. If you have questions about it, Mike did set up a quick trial league where he put in a couple teams over the course of the evening, and into tomorrow he may have a chance to get everybody an invite into that, so you can take a look and dig around. It's free right now, but if we do want to do it, there will be a cost that we'll have to discuss as well. So if you have questions about that as well, the Q&A is going. Feel free to jump in on that if you want to, and send in questions while you're watching. Hopefully you're watching live. Hopefully somebody's watching live. But so what do you know still, Mike? What you've been digging a little bit more than me. You've been looking because you created the league. What's some of the best features you found so far?
Well, I mean, the brief synopsis is just what you mentioned. It's bringing everything that Eric and I have put together in these spreadsheets and these Facebook pages, all our text communication, all our calls, all our emails, etc., and putting it all on one page. You have the option to basically, with a click of the button, go ahead and record a trash talking video right on the page for everybody to see, or just certain people. You have the options to send a text right from your computer to everybody in the league. You can obviously do that with the same email addresses that were set up before as well. To go in a little bit more detail on it, they do different things that we kind of do randomly, I guess specifically more Eric and I, about different power rankings, potential points, efficiency ratings. Geez, I guess we just went over a whole bunch of them, but there are so many options on here that I guess we all do manually. This just combines it all and makes, I guess, my job a little bit easier, and I mean Eric's job as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like, I mean, the initial load in of everything, the league history, all that would be quite a bit of work. It might even be something where everybody could pitch in. I don't know if you're allowed to give access to everybody to set up their own initial players, or how that would work exactly. But let me take a look here now. I know you set up the trial, and you set up a franchise for yourself. You sent me an invite before we went on, and you sent Eric an invite to take a look at as well. I think that's it so far. The first question that came is really going to almost be like an inside joke, because only 3 of us can see what the league page looks like currently, but that was from Eric, and he was asking if the thong-clad ladies would be a part of the league. I don't think that they're going to be there any other way than on the league page, but I don't know if Samuel's sister is available. Maybe she wants to come to the auction. She was invited last year, I heard.
Hey, she's always happy to make a guest appearance. She's let me know that personally already.
Well, maybe we'll put a vote on the league page.
We can do a vote right on this page as well.
Yeah, we've got the votes on there. We've got videos on there. You can put all your contact information. I'm just looking over here on the side. Once you on your franchise page, looks like you can put in. You can put your phone number in, your cell phone number in, and then you can set up text alerts for anything happening on your roster, anything happening with your players, anything happening in the league as far as trades, trade offers, trades that go through between other teams. There's quite a bit. There's live scoring on here, so I know one of the things that I used, and I think a lot of people used, was Stat Tracker when we were using Yahoo in the past, which was always really nice because you could at any time jump in and take a look at your team or watch right along with the games. This has it updates every 30 seconds to a minute, something like that. But yeah, it's nice. You get a snapshot of every league, every team in the league on one page. You can look at the salaries. You can offer trades right from those pages. You simply click on the trade button next to a player, and it brings you to a trade page to start initiating a trade with multiple players. You know, who knows what. Let's see here.
A couple third-party tools that they have as well that are pretty neat that we've talked about. They have different. They have a trade judge that's put out there, and that's a free little extra they give you where you throw in your trade to the trade judge, and the judge rules who got the better end of it. The Braves just lost their best player. I wouldn't be doing that.
Hey, we're about ready to be 2-0. We're all right.
You get a free team assessment. You get to view your team analysis. There's mock draft simulators. There's ways that other people can rate your teams. To me, that third-party stuff's just as much fun as almost everything else, too. One thing that they do have that I know Eric likes to do separately is they have separate power ranking categories as well. And they also break down games you probably should have won based on your lineups and could have won or would have won, etc. There's a lot of different power rankings set within there.
All right, and let's see. We've got Eric brought up the point that you can add custom-made logos, his custom-made logos, or any. I did put one on my team page. Might have to have him help me work on that because it blew it up. It's huge on there. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be that way, if that's the default this website uses, or if it just happens to be the size of the image loaded up there. But yeah, you can pick a custom icon, custom logo, and you can even have custom audio on your franchise's team page. Presumably, I tried to get that set up before we went on and didn't have a chance, but it looks like when somebody goes to your page, that audio will play. For me, it'd be the Strong Baddie anthem. But, see, one question Eric had, and this is a question I had, partly talking about trades, is he was asking about doing three-way trades, and that is a good question. I haven't seen anything on here. I think maybe if you're able to add a player to Eric's roster, we could test it, because I did come to the rosters page and was able to start initiating a trade, but that was just one-to-one.
You can. I have any commissioner, so I put myself as a commissioner, Eric as a co-commish. We had the ability to edit rosters and salary based on any sort of trades that go on or any sort of releasing. At the same point, there are automatic options where, let's say I release Monty Ball, they will go ahead and they ask me what percentages of salary you get back per individual year, and if that does increase or decrease each year. So there's some different, automated type deals that they have in there, but a lot of it we can manipulate if we need to.
Okay.
Which is the same as what we do now, I guess, in that realm.
Right. Yeah, and they've got, you can load the league rules or bylaws into this page. The scoring rules would be here, so a lot of what was, again, kind of repeating itself, what you get from all three different sources we use now. Yahoo would always have the scoring rules, of course, but those are here. You can keep accounting here. There's, under the league heading, there's a trade block, and you can just put somebody on the trade block there if you're interested. For example, let's see, I just went there and it allowed me to set up my trade bait. The only player on my team right now in this trial is Cam Newton. I can check on a box next to him that says I give up Cam Newton and then exchange for, and I can type out what I'm looking for. If I'm looking for a specific position, certain players, cash, cap room, draft picks, whatever. So it's, there's definitely a lot in here. There's more in here than some guys probably want to mess with, but to each their own if you don't want to dig in too much. Looks like the Cleveland Steamers has a logo already. His logo. I wonder if he set that up as an icon, because my logo isn't showing on the league page. But anyway, there's a scrolling something across the top. I don't even know what to call that off the top of my head. But right now it says that 40-yard dash is looking to win his second happy ending in 2015.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. I was going to dig over here. You can set up tiebreakers.
Yes.
I know we do fractions of points, so we don't really have tiebreakers too often, but you could set up what the tiebreakers are going to be, if it's going to be overall winning percentage, total points scored, head-to-head record, a divisional winning percentage. So a lot of these things are things that are already built into our rules and our bylaws, but it allows you to put it right in here. It's a lot easier to see, I think, than going through the Word document that we have. And just a lot of stats players. You could see some of the guys who are dropped the most, added the most. You get a whole free agent list in here, and that's one nice thing about this over Yahoo is it's running year-round. So you're not going to, in this case right now, Yahoo is shut down, and when that turns back on, I believe, now do you have to reload all that information into Yahoo when they turn the page on at the beginning of the season?
At the beginning of the year, I believe I do. I can actually renew the league, and then I may be able to select keepers out of it. But again, I'm going off of memory. I thought I had to reload them. In which case, yes, it's time. Either way you go. But at the same time, this is nice because, gosh, I mean, it's basically Yahoo on steroids, which is our Yahoo plus Facebook plus spreadsheets plus individual creativity. That's the best way that I can break it down.
Yeah, I see you can run bar charts on here based on weekly point totals. I mean, stuff that Eric loves to do and would love to see, but I don't know if he'd be crazy about somebody else doing it because he put out those big, huge spreadsheets today that he really enjoyed for bets. So I don't know. Maybe you could. I don't know if you could do side bets on here. That would at least keep him busy. And that brings up a really good question from Derek. How mad will Eric be if we don't use spreadsheets? Maybe it's a good thing that he put together so many spreadsheets for side bets because I don't see anything on here that would allow for side bets. So that could be the area where he spends his time in.
Actually, I disagree. There's a bulletin board option where you can go ahead and place anything you want to, and there it is. So there's a portion. There's a message board separate as well, but the bulletin board will always stay up too.
Okay.
What you can also put your bulletin board material, dare I say.
Yes. Mike says, or Eric says, Mike doesn't have to do it because the co-commish usually does it. Sounds like a burn.
That's what a co-commish should do, all the dirty work. I just make the decisions.
We've got injured reserve lists over here. Yeah, it breaks things out really nice. I don't know if there's a whole lot more we could say unless there's more questions about it. A lot of the guys, I think, are going to need to look at it for themselves. And some I could see some really would be on the fence and maybe not really care which way we went. Let's see here. Eric says, I doubt that automated spreadsheets will be as good as my custom spreadsheets. That's possible. I mean, there's
very possible, sure.
There's always a bit of anxiousness that I get when I'm waiting for the new spreadsheet to come out after a trade, and sometimes you got to wait till later that night. Sometimes you wait a few days. But so that's one thing we won't have if we don't have custom spreadsheets. Let's see. Derek is asking, is there a limit on guys you can release because that would suck for you?
What?
Because I have to release so many guys before the season, so because my roster is going to be full after the draft. But no, that would again be a rule that we would set, and this thing is really just, it's a template with a ton of options. From the looks of it, you can set things up how you want. So if we wanted to have a limit on how many times you could drop players during the year, I'm sure this would let us, but that's never been something we've done because that's more of a redraft league rule, where with us having salary cap and the waiver wire, that kind of dictates how many times you're going to drop. And if you want to keep dropping guys, you can, and keep picking them up, but then you can't sign those guys to big deals if they've already been on another team.
A few more reports that they give, just a part of everything. They give different fantasy previews and recaps similar to what Yahoo does. I'm not sure how much more or less detailed they are in comparison. They do give some more detailed franchise information about your team. They do have a portion that says who should I start, who should I sit. Also, trade bait is what they say as far as putting things out there for people on the trading block, which is nice. They do break everything down by player, who the top performers are, who the top free agents are. And then you can also sign up for different survival type pools right through there, else we could set up our own if we wanted to right through this program. And then overall records are just kept in here forever with the all-time series records against each other, matchup records, player records, season records, etc. So everything is all put together into one again, and that's what makes it nice.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be too many. There don't seem to be too many limitations for what they do on this. Just taking a look again at roster pages. I mean, basically in place of our spreadsheet that has rosters on every tab for each individual team, which is nice, has custom logos. Here you get, like I said before, one page where you can see all the rosters, and if you want to click in and get a little more detail on a team, you just click on the team name on that page, and it blows up their roster on your page, and then it gives you some options as to, who is on their team, what you can do. You can even pick your own stadium. You can pick your home stadium for your games as well, in case anybody is so inclined to do that. I see 40-Yard Dash is playing at Soldier Field. So.
Yes, I am. I'm playing Soldier Field this week. The question came up from Eric earlier too. How will we pay for this? How will we allocate funding? What's the cost, etc. First year cost on it, because it'd be a first year 50% off deal, is actually $35. After that, every year it's $70. Okay. So you do have a nice little initial setup deal just to see if we want to try it out. Eric does have some money allocated to him out of our extra $50 this year, because he. That's a good question by Derek. I said that earlier actually, but. Because he got some stuff previously, and then a little bit of money to me for engraving. So some of that's allocated this year, but basically after this year, that extra $50 is open every year. So we could again change things to add another couple bucks in a piece to make sure that we could fit that within the budget side if we did like it. Otherwise, it's just an option. And Derek Converta asked, why can't we make our own custom website? That's something I actually came to Derek about, I guess it's been about 3 or 4 weeks now. Ago, and we were playing around with it a little bit. We were also thinking about selling some different ideas and spreadsheets. So we can do it, but the cost to get the website and to have the host is just basically as much. Plus, it's a lot more work for yours truly as well. So if you guys want to pay me, I'll be happy to do that.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started looking yesterday and saw that the cost was $70 for a season. That didn't seem too outrageous to me. I was comparing that to another site that Eric and I had briefly looked at, or he had showed me about a week ago. It was $200. Now that site had a lot of detail, a lot of options. Like this site had a few really over-the-top options that I like too. But $200 is way too high. $70 seemed a lot more reasonable with the number of guys we have in the league. Whether we asked everybody to pitch in an extra $5 on top of the $50 for the yearly fee, or if we took it out of the $50 that everybody was putting in. But being able to get the first year for half price, $35, that helps you start a little bit ahead of the game, especially because up until and including this year, I guess we've set aside $50 from the total of the entry fees to cover other costs like engraving of the trophy, supplies, things of that nature. So if we have $35 left over going into this season to do that, I'm not saying we do, but if we did, then you could put that towards this, and then going forward, we could decide if it was worth it after 1 year. If we felt that, we didn't like the site, well, we're not really out a lot of money. We gave it a shot, and we could, move. The downside being that we'd have to jump in, or you and Eric, or all of us at Pitchin, have to get the spreadsheets back up to date. But I don't think that's a reason not to try it. I think it's definitely of interest. I think it'll take, a handful of us to log in and check out the site and give some feedback, and then I don't know if we vote on it or how we would handle it, but I think if everybody gets a look at it, I would be hard pressed to find any reason not to give it a try.
Well, I tell you, I think my next steps are I'll send this out to at least another handful of people, like what you just said. Naberta, I know you're horrible with computers, so if you can figure it out, that's probably a good good portrayal of if anybody out there could. I'll send it to my brother Doug, because I know he'll want to hop on and take a look, and if anybody else for sure wants it, just send me a quick text. But I'll just plan on sending it to a handful of people so they can get in and check it out and give out their thoughts.
And speaking of Doug Mostrom, he just sent me a friend request on Instagram.
Oh, look at that!
So
I hope he's watching.
I hope he is too.
I hope he just ignored that if he wasn't.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, well, we don't have any more questions. I think I've kind of said all I wanted to say. The price was the big thing that I had forgotten about, but you brought that up, so we got that in there. So, yeah, if you want to send out invites, if anybody has questions, they can post them on Facebook or to the league page or whatever. But it's definitely fun to play around with, and the more people that log in, and then even if we're able to throw some players on all the teams just to kind of play around, I think it'll be give a little bit better of a feel of how this site's going to run. But definitely be a bit of a learning curve, but I think it's worth it.
Well, that's why they get the free trial. They're smart with it. That makes sense.
Exactly. All right, well, that's going to do it for tonight. So thanks for those that were watching live and for those that will watch on demand. You can still send questions after the fact if you watch on demand. I know I was shocked. I got a message from Scott yesterday that said, hey, I actually listened to the last week's show, and it was pretty good. I think I like it, which means it only took 6 episodes for him to finally sit down and listen. But whatever. But we're slowly gaining listeners and followers and viewers. So,
but anyway, next week we should do a Pardon the Interruption format. I would like to be in on that, or else not the Pardon the Interruption. What's the other one?
Around the Horn. Yeah, that would this format on Google Hangouts really lends itself to the Around the Horn setup. So we'd need 5 people total for guests, and I think we could probably do that. We'll see. We'll have to do a little more preparation ahead of time probably to get everything we need into that show.
Understand.
All right. Well, good night, Mike. Thank you very much, and we'll look forward to tinkering around with the site some more and see what we can find out, and we can get everybody on board.
22 happy minutes.
All right. See you, Mike. Thanks.